It's been a very strange period in history recently, and though we have seen occasional breaks in pandemic-related news thanks to things like the US election and the Great British Bake Off, headlines have largely been dominated by the virus who must not be named. COVID. We all know it's COVID. If, like me, you're not a massively social animal, this probably hasn't changed your routine any further than adding mask to your keys, wallet and phone checklist as you leave the house, or don't, as the case may be. I'm told, however, that many people aren't like me and actually enjoy the company of others. Weird. It's really no surprise then that video calling and Zoom meetings have become so popular, and as a result, people have been finding digital ways to keep themselves entertained and engaged socially. One of those ways is the reigning king of the party video game, Jackbox. At the time of recording, there are 7 different versions of the minigame collection, each boasting a handful of easy-to-understand titles which are sure to liven up your next virtual gathering or meeting. The games can be a bit hit and miss, however, so here we are to demystify the whole thing and hand you a list of the very best ones on a shiny platter. Virtually, that is, we're maintaining social distance after all. I'm Ben from Triple Jump, and here are the 10 best Jackbox games to spice up your Zoom meetings. Number 10. You Don't Know Jack. Do you like quizzes, but the thought of trawling the internet for trivia in order to create a good one makes you want to vomit? Then You Don't Know Jack is probably the game for you. Based on Jackbox Studios' standalone games of the same name, You Don't Know Jack combines pop culture with high culture to give players a game show with a twist. Because what on earth is interesting about asking players what a straw man argument is? Yawn fest, am I right? But put it into the context of The Wizard of Oz and ask what it means if the Scarecrow uses a straw man argument against the Wicked Witch of the West, and it becomes much more entertaining. Who knew linguistics could be so fun? What's more is that even if you're not the sharpest bulb in the potting shed, you can still get ahead by screwing the other players. No, not like that. Again, social distancing. Screws make it significantly harder for your opponent to give the correct answer, thus giving you, the screwer, the advantage. Don't worry about the repercussions though, they'll have forgotten by the next round. Probably. Number 9. TKO. If you've ever felt the need to dive into your wardrobe, pull out all your t-shirts and make them do battle, you'll probably like TKO, which gives you all the fun of pitting your items of clothing against each other without having to fold them and put them away afterwards. The first step is to get those creative juices flowing and create the finest t-shirt design possible along with the wittiest slogans you can think of. These are all then shuffled between the players, and whoever combines drawing and slogan into the funniest shirt as decided by the rest of the group wins. It really is that simple. If your friends are like mine, i.e. horribly immature, you may end up swimming in a sea of Wilsons and poop emojis, but then again, that is half the fun. What's more, if you're particularly proud of one of your designs, you can even purchase a real-life version of it to wear with pride the next time you pop down to Tesco. Number 8. Patently stupid. Life is full of irritating little problems, like how toilet paper always runs out at the worst possible moment, and there's never a fresh roll within easy reach. Honestly, it baffles me that no one's come up with any kind of drone-based TP delivery service, but alas, once again, my genius goes unrecognized, or it would, if not for Patently Stupid. This game is here to allow you to share your problems and their creative solutions with the world. Simply present an issue to the group and sit back and relax as people come up with wacky inventions to solve it for you. Sick of having to get off your bum and boil the kettle whenever you want a brew? How about a cybernetic tea butler? Tired of birds pooing on your nice clean car? Avian missile launcher ought to sort that right out. The best inventions will receive financial backing from the rest of the group, and whoever has the most money behind them at the end of the game wins. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and find a propeller small enough to fit on this loo roll. Number 7. Faking it. Admittedly, this entry doesn't translate amazingly well to remote play. If you're watching this video when it comes out, stick faking it in your back pocket for when all these shenanigans are over. And if you're watching in the future, consider putting away Call of Duty Modern Warfare 17 for just a moment to give it a go with your friends. Faking it is a game of bluff, with players being delivered a prompt. It might say something like, point to the person in your group who's the shortest, and once the timer counts down to 0, everyone will naturally point to the shortest person. Hilarious. Not everyone in the group will get the prompt, however, and they'll need to perform an action to blend in. The group then has to try and work out who is faking it. Get it right, and you'll take home the bacon, but fail to do so within 3 rounds and your wily friend will end up winning the day. A great bit of fun for all ages, faking it will have you distrusting your whole group from beginning to end, and possibly beyond when you realise just how good of a liar your mate Fred is. I wonder what else he isn't telling us. Number 6. Drawful. Have you ever played a game of Pictionary and thought to yourself, this would be so much more fun if the aim were to trick my pals into giving the wrong answer? Well, if that's the case, then you need to have a crack at Drawful. Like Pictionary, players are given a prompt that they must turn into a piece of art, but that's basically where the similarities end. The prompts range from slightly bizarre to outright ridiculous, and it's your job to find the right answer whilst coming up with a convincing incorrect one for the other players to choose. Even if you're no Neil Buchanan, you can still have a great time churning out your jankiest drawings and crafting the most believable titles you can. Heck, if you're not bothered about winning, why not just go for laughs? Because after all, the aim of the game is to have fun, and who knows, that highly detailed drawing your overachieving cousin Kevin presented could be me riding a unicycle, right? You just never know, do you? Number 5. Trivia Murder Party. Do you like quizzes, but the thought of trawling the internet for trivia in order to create a good one makes you want to vomit, and furthermore it fails to offer the mortal danger that you so crave in your grey little life? Then Trivia Murder Party is definitely the game for you. Players awaken in the home of a twisted killer with a penchant for the TV show Pointless, and their only hope for survival is to correctly answer a series of quiz questions. Fail to do so, and you die. It really is that morbidly simple. Occasionally, death can be avoided by completing a series of simple maths problems, not drinking from a poisoned chalice, or by cutting off one of your fingers. Better find a tea towel to wrap that in, you're dripping blood all over the carpet. Even if you do meet an unfortunate demise, all is not lost as you remain in the game as a ghost, continuing to play along. You even have the opportunity to steal the body of an opponent in the final round and ultimately take home the grand prize. Sadly, there are no second or third place winnings because everybody else is dead. Number 4. Blather Round. You know those times in life when a word is on the tip of your tongue but it just won't come to you? Well, imagine if someone turned that into a game. Oh, what's that? They have? What a coincidence! And it's in Jackbox! Oh, this is unreal! Blather Round is a wonderful and infuriating game that gets players to choose from a handful of people, places, and things and then forces them to describe them to the rest of the group. Sounds fairly simple, right? Well, hold on to that thought, young man or woman, because once you're in the hot seat, you're not allowed to verbalize any of your clues. Instead, you're given a random selection of words to build sentences from to try to lead the rest of the players to the right answer. 9 times out of 10, the first set of words you get will be utterly useless. However, as your friends input their guesses, you can use those in new clues to hopefully steer them in the right direction. Players get points if you use their guesses in one of your clues, and of course, if they get the answer right. If they fail to decipher your string of nonsensical ramblings, they get the opportunity to either blame themselves or blame you. But let's face it, they're always going to point the finger squarely in your face. Get good, scrub. Number 3. Fibbage. You know what's great? Lying. Actually, that was a lie in itself, and telling it was a lot of fun. The premise is very simple. Players are all given an on-screen fact that is missing a key piece, and the aim of the game is to correctly finish the sentence whilst crafting a believable lie that is convincing enough that their opponents choose it instead of the correct answer. Points are earned for picking the correct answer and for every one of your pals that you fooled. On the other hand, if you're not super bothered about winning and are just here for a good time, there's plenty of fun to be had from coming up with the most bizarre and hilarious answers that you can. And to be fair, some of the facts are so weird that the actual answer is more absurd than anything you could have possibly thought of, because who could have known that antidaphobia, if that's how you say it, is the fear that somewhere in the world a duck is watching you? Oh, you say you knew that already? Well, I think you're lying. And I bet you had a lot of fun doing so. Number 2. Push the button. If you've enjoyed ousting imposters with a spot of Among Us, you will love Push the Button. Available to play in the Jackbox Party Pack 6, you must work with your crewmates to figure out who among you are the aliens. A few at a time, players must complete challenges that aim to identify the humans and uncover the imposters. These minigames can be anything from agreeing or disagreeing with statements to drawing challenges, and no matter the scenario, it's up to the aliens to try to fit in with the humans and justify why they've done something as weird as agree that pizza should be abolished. But before you go getting all cocky, it's not as easy as it may seem. Those pesky aliens get a slightly different prompt to their human counterparts, but they also have the technology to hack their opponent's devices and give them the incorrect prompt as well. Before you know it, everyone else in your party will seem totally sus, and you'll quickly find yourself reaching for the big red button as your nan declares she's definitely a human and she must have been hacked. A likely story, Grandma. Tell it to the infinite void, you alien scum. Number 1. Quiplash. As wonderful as the other entries on this list are, we couldn't have given the top spot to anything but Quiplash. Wonderfully simple but with hilarious results, the game first appeared in 2015's Jackbox Party Pack 2 and has had its sequels featured in Party Packs 3 and 7. Players get prompts delivered directly to their device and must simply fill in the blank with a quip of their choosing. You can expect to receive such prompts as a procedure not even the slimiest plastic surgeon will do, or a good catchphrase to yell every time you finish pooping. Really, there's no wrong answer to that one. The beauty is that you can make the whole experience as safe for work or not as you'd like, so the game is truly suitable for everyone, which is good, as we'll probably be using Zoom to communicate with everyone for the foreseeable future. And that's our list. What Jackbox games really get the party started for you? Sound them off in the comments down below. You can follow myself and Triple Jump on Twitter here, and while you're at it, why not support the things you enjoy by having a look at our Patreon. Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Ben from Triple Jump, and thanks for watching.